This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 127 of the Dressage Radio Show, brought to you with the generous support of Equestrian Collections and Horseshow.com. Hello, I'm Chris Stafford. Welcome back to the Dressage Radio Show this week, and I'm joined by my regular co-host who's just had a very exciting trip to tell us about. Heather, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Chris. I'm coming at you this time from Oldwick, New Jersey. I just got back, haven't made the trip back to Florida yet, but so it's a new location that I'm coming from this time.
Well, very nice to have you back on the show. And first of all, a huge congratulations. What a fantastic experience. Congratulations, Heather. Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much. I just, I can't get enough of hearing that, and I can't get enough of feeling it. This is just fantastic.
Well, I hope you're going to stick around throughout the show, as you normally do when you co-host, and tell us more. But I believe you brought someone with you, haven't you?
Well, I did. I brought my new great friend, Marissa Festerling, who was also with us, of course, in Mexico. Hi, Marissa.
Hi, Heather. Nice to hear from you. How are you?
Well, I'm great. I'm still on cloud nine. How about you?
Yeah, me too. I keep having to, pinch myself to make sure it all really happened.
Well, it certainly did. You did such a great job down there, and it's just been so great getting to know you. You West Coast person, you.
I know. Yeah, it's been really fun. It was really fun getting to know you and Paragon and Rob and Hannah. It was really, really fun. And we're looking forward to getting on home to California, but we're just kind of resting a little bit before we go, and everything's really good. But it was great and really great fun to meet everybody and get to know everyone, too.
Well, I heard that you brought a friend with you, too.
I did. I brought my friend Stephen Peters with me. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, Marissa, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's only been 4 or 5 days, and I miss you guys already. So, that certainly shows how much fun and how much of a team effort we had down there. And thanks for bringing me along to the show.
Well, thanks for coming. It was pretty awesome. You and Magic were really impressive, and it was really, really neat to see.
Yeah, it was a great time. But I have to say, even the time in training camp, where it was pretty obvious that there was some serious team bonding going on. The writing was on the wall that we're going to have a good trip down there. So, we'll go into a little bit more detail later on. But, Marissa, I brought a friend along too.
You did? Who'd you bring?
I brought my teammate and friend, Dr. Cesar Parar. Hi, Cesar.
How you doing, Stephen? How you doing, guys? It's great to be with all of you. I'm missing you too. You should move to New Jersey.
Yeah. I love New Jersey. I would move.
Well, I tell you what, the weather today is beautiful. It's 60 degrees, sunny. It's so beautiful. Maybe not as beautiful as the time I had with you guys down in Guadalajara, but it's fun to be here. I wish you were here.
Oh,
that's great.
Yeah, very nice.
Well, first of all, a very big welcome to all of you to the Dressage Radio Show. Most of you know your way around this show now. We have, as you know, a huge audience, and they are obviously delighted that you're all able to join us this week. But first of all, from me personally to each one of you, congratulations on a fantastic performance down there. You did the U.S. proud. You did each of your teams, your personal teams, proud. So, I hope you'll ride on this cloud for a very long time. But we've got lots to talk about. So, Heather, why don't you kick it off?
Well, that's a tough thing to do because it's hard to know where to start, just as far as what the experience was for me. We've all already talked about how much of a family we feel like we are now, the four of us, and I think maybe that was one of the least expected things that I had. I didn't realize how much that bond, how strong that would be, and I agree. I feel like I've sort of extended my family now, and that's just priceless. So, and I don't think it's going to be the last time we all get together. I think there's a lot of future for us all to hopefully do that again. And I just would love that. The whole experience was great from start to finish. We had, from the grooms to the organizers, team leaders, riders, horses, everybody just played the game better than you could even imagine. So what do you think about that, Marissa?
Yeah, I totally agree. It was, not only an incredible experience just as far as the riding went and everything, but it was really, really fun. I think our team, we just had a great sense of unity, and everyone wholeheartedly was, rooting for the other one and just hoping for the best for everybody. And it definitely made it just so nice to concentrate on your riding and not worry about other stuff. It was really, really, really cool. And I know we were kind of joking in the airport. I felt like we went to summer camp together and we were all going our separate ways. And I was kind of sad, wow, we're all going to go home. And, we got to Houston and we all kind of went our different directions. Cesar and Heather and I flew back to New Jersey, but from there we all went our separate ways. Anne and Jenny and everybody, Ava, all kind of split there. So it was kind of weird. But yeah, the whole experience of being at the games was wonderful, and everything was ran so well and handled so well. I felt like we were really taken care of. So it was really cool. Beyond the riding part and the medals part, that was really, really, really neat. What do you think, Stefan?
I agree with you. And since you just mentioned Houston, I have to say, since we started team processing in Houston, we flew from New Jersey down to Houston to get our uniforms and our clothing. And I honestly have to say that process in Houston was just as good as we did before Olympic Games, World Championships. And, I felt the same. And as soon as we got the clothing, my adrenaline started pumping. So, I was asked that question before, how did this feel compared to Olympic Games and World Games? And I'm telling you, this was at least as good, if not even better, because, again, we had so much fun. And anytime you get to represent your nation, it is special. And it didn't matter that it was maybe at the small tour level. It still was a huge honor, and it all started at the team processing. And when it came down to the competition on the first day in the Prix St. George, it was really interesting because I didn't know this, but Cesar's, Heather's, and Marissa's score was already good enough to receive the team gold medal. And Bruce Lavacek, owner of Magic, he did the score calculating and the team score calculating, and he told me later on, I said, listen, I didn't want to tell you that your score didn't matter. I wanted you to feel important to go in there. So, that was kind of interesting. And, just to receive the the medal with the team afterwards was outstanding. Cesar had a good idea, and to some people it might sound cheesy, but I loved it. He said, you know what, you guys, when we go up on the podium, let's hold hands. And I said, why not? Let's be different. Let's be cool. Let's show that unity that we had already from training camp. And standing up there with the whole team was just awesome. Yeah. And great experience. And I have to say, for the individual medal, it honestly was very, very difficult, because I knew when Heather I obviously heard Heather's score announced at an 86. And on that particular day, Magic wasn't the most cooperative in the warm-up. And, it's very natural to worry a little bit there. And on top of that, hearing Heather's score announced at an 86, that was one of my most difficult spots that I've ever been in. And the main reason for this was I wish Heather would have been from a different nation, and she, for one moment I wish she wouldn't be my friend, because that made it so much harder, but, went in there and for a moment just thought about that particular number. And I know Heather had a absolutely fantastic ride, and my first concern was when I got out of there, I wasn't, obviously was happy with my ride, but I wanted to make sure that I really deserved it. So I went over to Heather, and my first question was, I said, Heather, are you okay? And she said, yes, absolutely. I was really happy with my ride, and when I saw a big smile on my face, then I was happy too. But it's really not that easy to compete against a friend and team member at this level, and I just hope in the future it'll be a person from a different nation, and Heather, it won't be you again.
Well, I don't know how I can remedy that, Stefan, because I'm going to keep going for 86s. I don't know about you.
That's awesome.
But no, I really appreciated, though, your concern for how I felt afterwards, because, I mean, I have to admit it was a disappointment that an 86 didn't take the gold medal. But I also respect your riding and your performance, that I couldn't take any of your glory away from you, and know that you deserve it as much as anybody. So, but I did really so much appreciate it. I'll never forget that. You asked, that was one of the first things you were concerned about when you heard your score, and the fact that you got the gold medal, you were concerned about me. And I think that just speaks volumes.
Thank you, and I obviously really meant it from the bottom of my heart.
Well, how about you, Cesar? What do you think about your experience?
Well, listen, I'm listening to the three of you, and I just couldn't agree with all of you more. For me, everything started from the day of the championships at Gladstone. I mean, it was amazing. The group of horses that we had, it was unbelievable. I mean, that's what it was called, the dream team, and that's what Stefan kept saying to me. Yeah, it's more pressure because we have to deliver it. So I got very excited from the moment we started this team, and then when we were in training camp, and they gave me, for the first time, I guess Stefan had it for a long, long time already, but for me it was the first time that I get our emblem, the national emblem with the USA printed on it or embroidered on it that was going to be on my tails. I was like a little kid, I was jumped in, I was so excited. And then the trip to Houston, when we get all our stuff, I think for me it was really funny when we get to Houston and we saw this advertisement stuff that they have from the NASA that it says failure is impossible. We cannot go and fail. We have to do it. So that was really something that stick to my mind. And we had a great team. And when I think about the past Pan American Games, I think the score for Marisa was good enough to win the gold in the past competition, past games. So it's amazing how good the quality of you guys was, and I was very excited on the bleachers watching all of you ride. I was very proud to be a member of this team that everybody rode so well. So it was really a good moment. It was a good, exciting. I mean, it just all around was fantastic. It was a great weekend, and I wish we could have shows like this more often every year. But it is what it is. So that's very, very exciting for me too.
Well, we're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to hear more from our dream team. With the fall season upon us, it's time to start thinking about your horse's blankets again. Perhaps it's time for a new one. Well, Equestrian Collections has an extensive range of blankets for all weather conditions, from the popular horseware choices of Amigo, Rhino and Rambo models for turning out. When it gets colder, your horse will be ready with a brand new blanket from Equestrian Collections. And if you use coupon code HRN at the checkout, you'll get $10 off your next order of $100 or more. That's equestriancollections.com. And Equestrian Collections is a participating retailer of the Horse World Gives Back campaign. Well, Heather, obviously being a rookie on the team as well, there was a lot of things that you weren't expecting. So did you have any surprises along the way? What were your memorable moments, apart from riding, of course?
Well, so many things. One of the things that I didn't know happened at these kind of championships, which it may seem like a small deal, but you receive from your own organization these little lapel pins that are for the USEF or U.S. Olympic Committee. And when you get into the stabling area and all of the other riders and team leaders and grooms are all around there with you, it's tradition to approach whoever you like and ask them if you can trade a pin with them. So you can end up with, I guess in our case, like maybe 24 different kinds of pins because everyone has usually 2 different types. And it's a really nice way to, first of all, have some memorabilia from other countries, nations, but also to meet so many people where you might not just approach somebody just to say, hi, how are you? But if there's a little bit of an excuse like getting their pin, then you do end up meeting a lot of writers and team members from other nations. And I loved that. And I did meet some great people, and I will stay in touch with them. Of course, now it's so easy with the Internet. So it's just that was a little surprise and a really great thing, I think, that I didn't expect and loved.
Marissa, there must be some magic moments for you. I know you brought back a little bit of a cold from Mexico, but apart from that souvenir, there must have been more that you want to keep.
Oh, yeah, there were so many exciting things. I mean, this is the first time I've been on an international team. I think the biggest thing that hit me once we got to Houston for the team processing, and then we flew into Guadalajara the next day, I think the biggest thing for me was that, you go constantly to horse shows everywhere. You travel here and there, throughout the years, and you're always going, and you're always very, caught up in your own plans and taking care of the horses and everything, and that's kind of what you think about. But when you go to something like this, it's so much bigger than yourself. It's so much, of a bigger deal. It's the country, you're representing the country, and the amount of organization and the amount of support staff that goes into something like this really blew me away. I had never actually thought about it in those terms. It's really amazing, and I think that the USEF and the USOC and all the other, governing kind of federations that do it, there is so much work involved, and we spent a lot of time with Jenny Van Weeren, our team leader from USEF, and she was great and took such good care of us, and she was like my adopted mom, my mommy there. So always letting her know where I was and everything, and just listening to her and the stuff, the amount of organization that went into getting us all there safely and taking care of the horses and, even the other sports, I'm sure. It was pretty amazing. I kind of actually, I was shocked by it. But it all went so smoothly. So obviously there's a lot of good people who are doing a really good job. And I think the other thing that really was really cool when we got down to Guadalajara was just the Mexican people. In general, the ones that I interacted with or talked to, even the ones that weren't involved in the horse events, they were really, really interested. They had, even the little kids, and they really, really wanted to know like what we were doing, and they had questions and they wanted autographs, and it was really fun. It was just really neat to see people interested in our country and in a sport like equestrian, which isn't the most commonly seen thing. So I thought that was pretty cool. Stefan, what did you think? What were your memories of it?
I have a quick question for you. Do you still have your trophy?
I do. It's still with me.
Tell us about the trophy.
Okay, well, it's funny. In training camp, we decided that Ann Gribbins actually suggested that we go on like a field trip to New York City. So we all decided we would go see the Cirque du Soleil performance at the Radio City Music Hall. So there was a whole bunch of us, and we went, and Jenny Van Weeren and my personal trainer, Marie Myers, were drinking, I think was it a martini, I think, that they ordered, in this glass with the one of the Rockettes legs on the bottom. And Jenny saved it, kind of hid it and saved it. And we had our test ride where we all got dressed up like a dress rehearsal, did a test ride in front of Anne and a friend of hers who's a judge at the training place. And whoever was the winner of that was going to get this trophy. We didn't know what it was. There was just a trophy. So Stefan won the test ride, and Jenny pulls out this little martini glass with these ladies' sexy legs on it. So that was Stefan's trophy.
If I may add, it was very valuable plastic, not glass, actually.
Yeah, it was. It was very high quality plastic lady glass.
I think you need to post that on your Facebook, Marissa.
I will. You know what? I'll take a picture of her legs and I will post it. So anyways, we were riding around in the bus after the pre-St. George, after the intermediate. It was after the intermediate one, the first individual test. and we were riding around in the bus, and I had a really nice, clean, solid ride, and we were all happy about that and everything. And we were riding in the bus, and Stefan made his announcement. He said, I'd like to tell everybody, to get your attention, I would like to give this very special trophy I've been carrying around with me to the person I think that was deserving to win the class today. So he pulls out of his backpack the Rocket trophy and hands it to me. So of course we were cracking up, and I, in a million years, never guessed you were going to whip that out of your backpack.
Yeah, I took it all the way with me down to Mexico. So that was great.
Pretty funny.
I think it was well deserved, Marisa.
Aw,
yeah,
thank you guys.
I have to agree with Cesar there, and I still remember, any time when one of our teammates was riding, not only was everybody present for the performance, we were also there in the warm-up. And needless to say, we were there when the scores were announced, time permitting, if we weren't doing our own warm-up. And I still remember when Marissa's score was announced, and it was not one of those scoreboards where just all of a sudden one percentage pops up. Every single judge's score was announced, and it was rather a relatively slow process. So I still remember the first score from the judges, C, was an 80% for Marissa. I remember standing next to her, jumping up and down, and it was just really, really fun. I mean, it's another one of those great memories from there, and just all 3 days of performing were just outstanding memories.
Thank you. It was so fun, and it was really nice. After our rides, we would all wait together after pretty much everybody's ride and wait for the scores and, be there to support each other. And that was really, really nice, I think. And we were really, rooting for each person. And it was kind of funny because, you focus for so many weeks on the team, the Prix St. George, and, that's like your big, big focus, and that's all you think about, and it's your teammates. And then it is really weird the next day, like you said, to ride, you're actually riding, competing against your friends and, these people that have come so far with you that it is odd. And I actually don't think I haven't really thought about it. It was still like we were in a team competition till the last day together.
Exactly.
We're going to take another short commercial break to remind you about one of our other valued sponsors here on the Dressage Radio Show, and that is Horseshow.com. Horseshow.com offers 2 kinds of shows, a popularity class and judged shows. Entries to a judge show are evaluated by a U.S. Equestrian Federation or FEI licensed judge, and all entrants receive a complete scorecard from the judge along with their comments about the performance. Entries into popularity classes are viewed by the entire online community. Everyone can watch the entries and submit their own scorecard to place the class. It's like American Idol for horses, where your friends and family get to vote on their favorite performance. You can find out more about how to compete without even leaving home by going online to horseshow.com and taking part anytime. All right, Cesar, over to you.
Well, this is a great thing for me to be the last year to listen to you guys, and it's so beautiful to have to say. I have to agree with most of what you say and even add more. But to me, it was really amazing, the support group, support team that we had behind us. I mean, obviously, this is like the 4th time I'm doing these in the Pan Am Games and many times internationally. But the team that the United States has for the riders is amazing. I would like to start with Dr. Mitchell. I mean, he was there always on the ball, making sure that our horses were 150% ready to go. That was amazing. And also the farrier and, the grooms and the chef that keep and Jenny and our coach, we call our boss, and Gribbons. I mean, it was just amazing to have so many people available to make us succeed. So to me, that was like sometimes overwhelming. Then we were making fun even of security. So I took the job at the last day. It was pretty much funny that we have, they were taking care of us even to go from the hotel to the venue. So it was just so beautiful to be so together, to be in a team, and to feel so important representing this nation. So I think to me that was really one of the highlights. And also, like Marisa said, in the individual from the intermediate one, honestly, for me, even though we were competing against each other, for me, it was just another show where we were all together. I mean, it doesn't matter who's going to win or whatever. It's just that we work together, giving our very, very best. And that, to me, was a great feeling, to be in a team that we just get to our best, and that's all it takes. I mean, that was all it mattered, Okay, today won Stefan, tomorrow might be Heather, after tomorrow might be Marisa or me. But it was just really, really, really good to see that we all wanted the best for our horses. And we have an inside joke that our horses were such a good boys, and they were really always giving our best, giving their best to us. So it was really, really fun. This bonding for me, that's also very, very special for me to bring from Guadalajara. And another thing, I don't know if you guys have heard, like it's dangerous to go to Mexico, or all this advertisement that sometimes is not 100% true what we hear on the TV or on the radio. But the people in Guadalajara were absolutely wonderful. I mean, I have been almost in every single country in Latin America, and the amount of love that we got from the people and the care, and I mean, they were so charming to us and to me that it was just amazing to be there. I mean, I never felt a danger. I felt like so safe. Everybody was so, even the hotel, the people, the service, it was just amazing. It was really, really, really nice to be there. And honestly, I wish we could go there again, to have another competition next month. It was really, really amazing.
I totally agree with you, Cesar. I was going to say something similar that, I don't know if I would have ever had another kind of reason or excuse to go to Guadalajara. So just really very glad that it was there. I mean, at first, you hear the negative stuff in the press, and I was thinking before the games, before I even qualified, that, gee, that's, kind of a negative thing on the list of what to think about. But, in hindsight, just totally, I feel the same. We met so many warm, wonderful people, and, complete strangers, of course. You could walk into a restaurant, and especially if you're wearing metal afterwards, everyone in the restaurant would stand up and clap. And I just think that's phenomenal. And that was sort of citywide. Of course, it's a city of 7 million people, I think. So, of course, we didn't see all the people, but wherever we went, it just seemed to be, they were just so happy to have us there, and just a universal feeling of welcome. So I hope I can go back down there again also, whether it's just for a vacation or competition, but it's a great city.
Yeah, beautiful.
What I'd like to do to round this up, because I think we could talk all evening. This is obviously great to have you all on the show, but I think what our listeners would really like to know is if you could each sum up your horse's performance as you were prepared for this. Obviously, it involves a lot of training, the teamwork, everything that goes into getting your horse to peak in a championship competition. What you thought of your performance in terms of your preparation, how it panned out during the competition, and what your takeaway is for the future, obviously, with each of your horses. Cesar, let's start with you.
Well, I want to start saying something that I learned from Marisa. My horse was a good boy. I mean, he really was giving our best. He was really, really, probably she will tell you later, guys, why we're saying this. But anyway, it was really, really, I was very happy. I think I felt like he grew up a lot in these few days. I mean, I felt like he grew up a couple of years in these 2 weeks, especially from being more mature in his mind. He's a little bit childish. He's like a big boy with a big body, but, behaving like a little child. And it was really good to see him grown up and mature to the last day, where so much is going on and you're able to walk around on loose reins. So it's amazing to see how much trust and bond grew up between him and me, and a professional rider. and unfortunately, I'm not allowed to spend so much time with each one of my horses or each one of the horses that I get to ride because I get to ride the next one or I have to teach like I'm doing today. So, being all day long with him, even one day I had the luxury to sit in front of his stall, without shoes and just feet up, and he was just looking at me and licking me and playing. It was so nice to see that bonding. That was really, really good. And of course, I wish I would have had a better ride and, better scores, but I feel so excited that I was there, that we got the gold medal, that my teammates did fantastic, that it was nothing that we could have said, the rider from the United States came and it was a disappointment. I think we exceed what it was expected. The expectations were fulfilled or more. So I'm really, really excited. I think Grandioso came back being a better horse and ready to keep on going. So I'm very, very excited about it. And I think that was for all of the horses. So I'm really excited with the training. I mean, the training camp helped us, be isolated for the rest of the normal life and concentrate on the riding. And I think it's something that I take in for my life, is that if we have an important competition or even in a daily basis, I'm going to try to have this private time to be with my horse. And I think that really improves a lot the riding, the quality of the movement. It improves everything and the relationship and the bonding with the horse. I'm really, really excited with that. So I think that's what I have to take home. And that is amazing to spend the time with the horse, to take your time in doing everything, to concentrate, and that the quality is more important than anything else. So that's what I'm taking home. And then to have a team like the one I had, I feel very, very blessed to have every one of the teams, members that we have right now at this table, Stefan, Marisa, Heather. And just remember, guys, that you have a new home here in New Jersey in White House Station. And I love you guys, and thank you for my medal. And I also have to ask you to forgive me. I'm going to have to run. But I want to say thank you so much to everybody that are listening to us. Thank you for inviting us to the show. And I wish you all the very, very, very best. And I see you soon.
Thank
you, Cesar.
Thank you so much, Cesar. Thank you for joining us. Well, Marisa, you were number 2 in the order of go.
Yes, I was. I think long term, as far as preparing my horse, we decided last year that I would go to Gladstone if I qualified. It was my first actual trip to Gladstone, and I would do the Intermediate Championships. And I did. I qualified. We finished 5th. I think it was a great thing that we did, knowing that I would hope to qualify for the Pan Ams this year. I think just, to know what to expect, to show up at Gladstone and be a part of that, to take the horse on that kind of trip from the West Coast. I think it was a wise investment in both of our careers. So I think definitely when we showed up this year, he did travel better. I knew what to expect from him. Dealing with the weather, changes and everything. That was good. I think it did work. I think it was worth it. It was a big investment the year before. But I am really, really glad I did it. I think it did pay off this year throughout the trials, so that when we came in 4th, we did get a spot on the team. And then kind of like more short term with his training for the games, we did stay on the East Coast. There was a 3-week gap between Gladstone and our training session with Anne. There was a 3-week gap. So I stayed in New Jersey at Betsy Steiner's barn because it was not really practical to fly my horse home, and another round trip. So he stayed there and I stayed. My family came back and forth and visited, and Marie Myers came and helped me during that 3-week gap period. As far as like the training and preparing him, we really, really worked on the pirouettes. Really worked on making those a lot better. That was something that we really needed to step up this year, and he's gotten stronger and gotten very, very dependable in that kind of in the collected work. And then we moved over to the training camp, which was a little over a week, led by Ann Gribbins, and we really kind of got together as a team there. We did have a lot of insight from Ann. She's also an international judge, so I think that was great. That was really good for me. And my trainer, Marie Myers, was there with me the whole time. And, we've been together for 18 years, so you kind of get to know somebody and you know the horse and everything the same every day, but it was great to have Am there and help us, and Stefan helped me also, and it was really good. I think for me, and I think for my horse, I think it is a great way to prepare, not only mentally to get everybody together, but it's good. It's almost like you're in a little mini show environment. Before you go, we did do a dress rehearsal, which was great. I think that everybody did a really good job preparing us for the games, and when we got there, I think the horses were ready. They were all, of course, prepared even before that, but they were fit. Things were pretty well taken care of. So I think of course, the medals and everything, you can say, oh yeah, I mean, obviously, it paid off. We did well, but I think that the plan was really good, and I'm very, very happy. I think to sum up, how I felt about my horses' performances over all 3 days, I really thought they were solid. They were really, really 3 solid days. I mean, sure, some days the feeling's better than others, and some days you have a little glitch here or there. We had a little bobble in one test in the Pre-St. George, but just little things that it's always going to happen here and there. But I was super, super happy with him, with Frankie, as we call him in the barn, big time, but we call him Frankie. Really happy with the solidness of our tests, the dependability of our rides, and just his overall effort and character with the whole thing. And I was thrilled. I can't say any more about it than I was really, really, really happy with his performance.
Heather.
Well, the biggest thing for me was that there were quite a few unknowns. Paragon's only 8, has never done a competition with having to fly. I don't know if Frankie has either, or Magic, actually. Paragon definitely hasn't, and he hasn't been in that kind of environment before, so that was an unknown. How he would be when he got to Guadalajara ended up being quite fine. He was ready to go as soon as we got there. Another one of the things that made it a little tough was the competitors weren't allowed to bring, of course, from one country to another. You can't bring food or vegetables or anything like that, including horse feed. So the horses had to be on the food or the grains that the show offered. So you don't know how they're going to react when their diets change from pretty much one day to the next. And it just makes you wonder if that's going to change the performance. And there are also regulations on things like, Paragon gets a therapeutic magnetic blanket, and we didn't know if those kind of things would be allowed. There was even a question whether or not ice boots would be allowed, and I always cool my horse's legs down after work. And there were just a number of things, because any international competition has so many more rules that made me kind of not feel like I couldn't control the situation, but some things I couldn't. So it was a little bit of a guessing game for me, but I'm also fortunate that I've known my horse for so long that I guess that I did guess pretty well, because I do feel like he did peak just at the right times. And I mean, even after the freestyle was such a strenuous, really 2 weeks of everything going on with travel and competing, even as a final salute at the freestyle, he was ready to go again. So, hindsight's always 20/20, and I think that I did a good job of guessing, and I hope that I can do it as well next time. Hopefully next year, going to London, if I can make that happen.
So what was your biggest takeaway for your horse's performance and moving on now in his training into the Grand Prix?
Well, realizing that he can handle electric atmosphere, that he can handle pressure, that he and I can handle it together. That gives me a lot of confidence for the future. I won't have to go into my next, hopefully, major championship wondering how we're going to handle it. I think we're going to know how, because that was just as big to me and him as it gets, I think. Even if the Olympics are more competitive and a bigger show, it won't be the first one. So the fact that this was my maiden voyage into that sort of thing, I think was, made it even more of a big deal than I think what the second or hopefully third or on might be. So that was a big takeaway for me, that I think we've got what it takes to go on and do it in an even bigger situation with more competition in the class.
Well, finally, Stefan, have you apologized to Shannon for stealing this horse from her?
I have many times, but it was more like a thank you, because she's been, she has been very generously letting me take the reins when Magic was about 7 years old. But obviously did a fantastic job with him as a, with Magic when he was young. And also, a very big thank you to Dawn White O'Connor, who stayed with Magic after Gladstone. I flew back and forth after Gladstone on the weekends, and Dawn wrote Magic for me on the team. Dawn has been working for us for 5 years, so that worked out great. Magic stayed over at Michael Barrison's, who made his facility very generously available for us. So that all worked out beautifully. And then when training camp started on September 2nd, Eddie Garcia, Magic's groom, and I came, and then training camp started. And, so very thankful to Magic. He's an extremely laid-back horse. I still remember in the honor rounds, especially in the individual medals, when Heather, Marissa, and I were standing on the podium. Paragon and Frankie were definitely a little excited, and he was looking around and stood still with Eddie, and that says a lot about his personality, and that's why I'm so thankful that he's on the one side such a laid-back horse, but also sensitive enough that we can compete at this level. You see so many times when horses have that laid-back attitude that they get a little bit lazy, but he's not. And that temperament and this pure relaxation is something I just appreciate so much. On the one side, you can do in a very exciting collected trot. He does beautiful canter pirouettes, but on the other side, he also has a super relaxed walk that where the judges gave him very high marks. We know that's a coefficient, so that was a lot of points on the account. And what I really enjoyed is just like Cesar said, that little extra time that you have at major championships when you only have one horse there. You can spend some time in front of a stall, and I don't think I ever had a horse that's more food motivated than Magic. When he sees me coming, he starts talking, and the neat thing is he at the show we can feed him a little bit more. At home we have to be very careful that he doesn't get too heavy, but at the show we spoil him even more, and he had a lot more food than usually, grain and hay, and that was very, very well deserved, and I'm can't say enough how excited I am to to get to ride a horse like him. And Bruce and Jen Lovacek are very generous to let me ride a horse like Magic.
Well, I'm sure he's enjoying a vacation now and some spa treatment, but what next for him? When can we expect to see him out in the arena again, Stefan? All horses were just released from quarantine yesterday, so Frankie and Magic will be on a flight tomorrow back to California. And I still have to see where we go from here. I always believed with all horses that they simply need to tell us when they're ready for the next lesson. I'm sorry, not for the next lesson, for the next level. And, I listen. If he advances a bit more with the Piaf and the 110 piece, then, we'll give it a try at the Grand Prix. But the Piaf seems to be the biggest hurdle at the moment. The Passage is working nicely, and the 110 piece happen 8 times out of 10. So that is all good, but I've always taken my time and not presenting a horse too soon in the arena. I think we need to put him in there when it's quite good, not just when it's average, and that's the plan for next year. Well, Marissa, we've heard people thanking those that have enabled them to take this journey. Is there anyone that you would like to personally thank of your family and connections?
Oh yeah, the list is miles long. I mean, of course, my immediate family. I have a 4-year-old daughter, Ella, who's been back and forth a few times, and it wouldn't have been possible to do this without my husband being on board, my husband Brian. We've had a lot of family, his parents helping us, just so that this could happen, because when all is said and done, I've been gone almost 2 months. So that's been a big help. Of course, Marie Myers, my longtime trainer, who actually found Frankie as a young horse. Couldn't have been possible without her. My partners I own the horse with, Anne-Marie and Dave Walter, have, made this possible by helping me buy him when he was a youngster. And so many people who helped get us here, get us to Gladstone, helped with raising fundraisers. Caitlin Zacca was the person who came and helped groom. She's not a regular groom for me. She is actually a girl that I teach, and she was so gracious, so generous with her time. She is Frankie's new best friend because she spent 24 hours a day with him practically for the past 2 weeks. So she was great and really instrumental in making it all possible and keeping Frankie happy and there's so many more people. I could go on for an hour, but everyone who has supported us and everything and helped, it takes a village. It really does.
Well, Heather, would you like to wrap things up?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can thank a lot of people as well, all my fans and friends that have sent support. There's too many to mention without taking up another 3 hours. Definitely my family, my lifetime partner, Rob. He's by my side everywhere I go, and he's a whole lot of support, and I couldn't do it without him. And if I had to, it would just be no fun because it's a blast to share it with him. And Mary Wanless, actually, I think she's made me a big part of the rider that I am today, and I think she's the most special, wonderful help that I have had in my life as a rider. And all the people at USEF who make it possible for us as athletes to go in and perform like we do, because we don't have to do any of the work that they do. And I mean, Paragon himself, I can just make myself cry if I think about how generous he is in the second. He's just such a wonderful person, and I am really grateful to be attached to him and to be the one that gets to ride him every day, and that's just the bottom line.
Of course, in your groom, Hannah Michaels, who joined you.
And
there.
Hannah. Oh, gosh, sorry, Hannah. I was caught up in the moment. Absolutely, Hannah is completely devoted to Paragon as much as I am, and also to me. And she not only does that, but she's a fantastic rider. You'll definitely see her out in the competitions in a very short time. She's a great rider, and she manages my barn in a way that makes me feel like a slob. She's fantastic, and Paragon loves her to death and takes care of him. I trust her with absolutely anything. So thank you so much, Hannah.
Well, you mentioned your family. Of course, you should mention them by name because they were down there in Guadalajara with you.
Yes, my mom, Karen, and my sister, Lauren, she was there with me. And then Rob's parents were there also, and that's also Karen McCain and Scott McCain. So they were down there supporting him. My friends, Paige and Harry Athen, were there, and my new friends too. But I thank everybody for coming and supporting us. It was just so great to have everybody there.
Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us this week. It's been great fun having you on the show and hearing your memories, which I'm sure will absolutely last a lifetime. Stefan, I know there's an important ball game that you have to go to, so thank you very much. Enjoy all the glory that follows with this, and good luck in your future journeys, Stefan.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much for having us on. It was fun.
Well, Marissa, thank you very much, and the best of luck. Hope you get over your Mexican cold and come back and see us anytime, won't you?
Thank you, Chris, very much. It was a pleasure.
And thank you to my co-host and my dear friend, Heather. Very proud of you too, my friend.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. You're a big part of what makes me feel supported and confident going in the ring, too. So I really want to thank you also.
Well, thank you all. It's been great fun having you all on the show, and we'll be following all of your careers and, of course, these partnerships that you've formed. And, of course, you can come back on the show anytime. But for now, that's all for us this week. I will be back, of course, at the same time, same place next week. So until then, thank you all for listening.